the third most powerful block of leadership. This talks about the atmosphere of the team. This is so important. You see, when a leader establishes the character of leadership and has also established the charisma of leadership, these two combine to form the atmosphere of the team. I'm going to say that again. When a leader establishes the character of his leadership and then combined with the charisma of his leadership, these two blocks combine to form the atmosphere of the leadership. You see, the atmosphere of every team is a feedback in some sense or the other to the leader. When he sees an atmosphere of productivity, an atmosphere of collaboration, an atmosphere of excitement, it's a sign that yes, he's doing something right. When he sees the atmosphere of competition, he sees an atmosphere of, gossip and backbiting, it's a sign that he's doing something wrong. And that is, it's like the first point of feedback when it comes to how to manage a team effectively as the leader. And so the atmosphere of every team determines the productivity of that team. Later in this course, you will learn about the various styles of leadership which inadvertently influence the kind of atmosphere in every team. But primarily what you need to know now is that the leader determines the atmosphere in a team. The leader embodies the atmosphere obtainable in his team. You see, when people say the company culture, this is the atmosphere they're talking about. When they're talking about the vision of our company, this is the atmosphere they're talking about. That is, when they say all those very nice things and put them on, as placards on their walls, the value system of this team is teamwork, is excellence, and all of those amazing things that people put on their walls. You see, it's not just something that is meant for the walls. It's something that should be felt in the atmosphere. When I come into a system and people are working in silos, then I know that whatever you wrote as collaboration on your walls is not true. The atmosphere of a team is visible. Just like when the atmosphere begins to change for rain to downpour, you can see in the atmosphere that it's about to rain. You can see in the atmosphere that it's sunny. It's not something that you need to be informed. It's something you can see. And so when it comes to an organization, a team, a family, when you enter into an atmosphere, you should be able to see the dominant atmosphere or the dominant factor in that atmosphere. When you see competition in a system, you know that this is the dominant factor in this atmosphere. And it's usually a function of what the leaders are doing. This is so vital in understanding how to engineer change in your leadership. And so what are the things to do in order to improve the atmosphere in your leadership? Number one, establish your character, establish your charisma before you begin to even talk about atmosphere. But it is assuming that these two have already been established. But you see, it's also an art. No matter how good your character is, no matter how amazing your charisma and your charm is, you will still have to keep tweaking the atmosphere in your organization. You have to keep tweaking the culture in your organization. You have to keep your ears to the ground and understand what is going on in the system so that you can keep managing it the way a rider manages the movement of the horse. He is navigating it. He's navigating it. And that is what it means to check the atmosphere, to see what's going on there and see how to improve it effectively. Number one, validate efforts and nurture for better results. Nothing is as annoying to subordinates and those that are under you as not validating their effort. We understand that you are better than them. We understand that they may not be getting the results that you have expected. But you see, hours went into that ridiculous report that they brought out. For some people, they are just learning the ropes. And so they put in hours, they put in 3 hours, they put in 4 hours to create a report that you had a few issues with. Let's say the report is even 70% good and the 30% bad. And you concentrate so much on the 30% that the person feels like the entire 100% work was nonsense, was rubbish. That is not a sign of a good leader. And so you have to create an atmosphere that validates effort. Even when results are not the most exciting, validate the effort, appreciate the efforts that went into it. It would encourage them to do much more. Very first thing. And these are things that must be done publicly. These are not things you just do in silos. You have to have a culture that validates efforts. And while validating efforts, you don't just say, I validate efforts and say it's good when it's actually not good enough. No, you actually validate efforts and nurture for better results. And so you say, wow, this 70% you have done is fantastic. How long did it take you to do this? And I said, 2 hours. Wow, fantastic job, great job you've done here. But you see, these other areas you need to improve on it. So read up on this material, research on this particular thing, give me your feedback about this material and all of that. Appreciate the effort again in research. Give the person the same task or an improved task or another task that applies all of the principles that he or she should have learned from the previous task and see how the person has improved. Always validate effort. Recognize improvements and nurture for better results. Don't discourage to improve people. Encourage to improve people. Don't malign people in a bid to encourage them or in a bid to improve their excellence. It doesn't work that way. It demoralizes them and it makes them a lot worse. It gives them a much lesser chance of getting better than actually improving. And so you have to, build people up from a position of encouragement, from a position of validation, rather than from a position of discouragement and maligning. Very important. Number 2, avoid gossip. I know this is something that is being over-spiritualized, but it is so damaging even in corporate context. Once there is too much gossip in the system, the atmosphere will be very toxic. It will be very, very toxic. So anybody that comes to gossip about anyone towards you, you shut it dead in its tracks. Anyone that comes to tell you, oh, this is what this person is doing that is wrong, can you shut that person already? That is a toxic person that is spreading tales that are not true, exaggerating realities, and destroying the culture of that team. Because when A tells B about the wrongdoing of C, then A is not willing to collaborate with C in the way that C needs A to collaborate with her or with him in order to get the job done. And so all of those side talks, gossip, backbiting, it must end. If you have a problem with someone, be forthright about it. Tell the person to its face. And let the person know exactly what you have a problem with. Address the issue. Don't address the person. Don't make the person the issue. And so it's important to avoid gossip in your system. If you're a leader, ensure that gossip does not fester in your environment, or else it will become a very destructive atmosphere in the system. Number 3, show genuine concern to your team members. Whenever somebody is sick, don't just say, well, that's fine. Let somebody else get the job done. No, show concern. Even when the person is not available, call the person. If you have to send whatever it is to check up on the person, do whatever it takes. Show concern. Let the people know that it is beyond the job. It's beyond the work. It's beyond the deliverables. It's beyond the reports. That they are valuable. They are important. They matter to you. They matter to you much more than the bottom line. They matter. It's important. And this is a mistake a lot of leaders, HR personnel make. They make the company more important than the people. But without the people, there is no company in the first place. And so it's important that you pay attention. As much as the vision and the company is so important, the people that will drive those results are even as important. Number 4, be visibly excellent. Don't be a mediocre leader and expect excellence from your people. What you're not willing to do, don't expect. Be visibly excellent. You're telling somebody to make a design. Can you make as much of a good design? Can you refer to your track record? Can you let people understand how good you also are so that they respect you because of your excellence, not just because you are the leader occupying a role? When people can see visibly that this guy is actually better than us, not because you're rubbing it in their face, not because you're making them feel small, not because you're belittling them, but because you're demonstrating consistently your quality and your high value system. And you see, that already puts you in a position of respect. People will respect you because you are visibly excellent. You show how excellent you are in your deliverables consistently. You're not the kind of person that comes late. You're not the kind of person that, misses your deadlines and your timelines. You're not the kind of person that is sloppy and shabby. You are accurate. You are concise. You are excellent. You communicate effectively. These are the things that will make people earn, or rather, these are the things that will make you earn people's respect in your organization. Another very important thing is this: you must reward good results publicly. This is an area a lot of people miss it. When it's time to embarrass, and it's time to malign, and it's time to give a query, they do it publicly. When it's time to give recommendations and good approval statements and celebration and appreciation, they do it privately by increasing your salary, and nobody knows about it. And so it's important that beyond all of the back-end politics that happens in your organization, learn to be very forthright. Reward good results publicly, especially things that have been corporately agreed to. All right? Reward good results publicly. And the last thing is this: be fair without partiality while adhering to corporate standards. There is nothing that makes a system or an atmosphere more toxic than partiality and hypocrisy. So when A does something, the exact same B does, you react to B differently than you reacted to A, even though both of them did the exact same thing. And you're partial. Your standards are not equal. You don't have equal measuring yardsticks to measure people and their performances. Just because you like someone, you will overpraise the person. Just because you don't like the guts of another person, you would undermine the person. And that's very unfair. And if people can perceive that you are unfair and you are hypocritical and then you are very partial, nobody's going to believe in your leadership. Nobody's going to believe in your credibility. That the next available boss out of your system, they will jump it. Because they see that there is no future for them. Because you're partial. Once they get into your wrong books, they know that there's no hope for them anymore. And that is why there's a lot of politicking in the system, even in politics and company politics and all of that. Because people don't really depend on their performance exclusively anymore. You don't have to be working yourself into the good books of your boss. You have to be getting her to like you, getting him to love you. You have to be buying stuff just to, oil their hands so that they can look at you in a good light. And when it's time for performance appraisal, they can increase your marks. That should never be the yardstick for performance appraisals. You should be able to judge people strictly by their work, their performance, not because of the look of their skin, not because of whether they are from your tribe or not whether they like your children or not whether they wish you happy birthday or not. Those things should really not matter. That is what sentiments has caused in the workplace, and that should never be. If you want to create an atmosphere that is sound and solid, you must be fair to every single person. And it is by adhering to already established corporate standards. That is, everybody knows that these are the standards in this organization. It's not like you're changing standards every time. You're shifting goalposts. Everybody knows this. And so because of that, whenever it is you're approving anybody, whenever it is you're punishing anyone, everybody knows that you're only doing what is already agreed, pre-agreed corporate standards. And this will help improve the quality of the atmosphere in your team. I'll go right along to the very last block of leadership quickly as we begin to wrap up. This last block of leadership is the part where a lot of people focus on. And you see, it's wrong for you to focus on this last block of leadership. The first block of leadership talks about the character of leadership. The second is the charisma of leadership. The third is the atmosphere in the team. Now, the loyalty of the followers is the last block of leadership. You see, but that is the most, how do I put it now? It is the block of leadership that should not take the highest level of attention from you. That is, focus a lot on your character. Focus on developing your charisma. Focus on the atmosphere. The loyalty will respond to the establishment of the first 3 blocks of leadership. If you do a terrible job in the first 3 blocks, you would have a terrible result with your followership. People will not be loyal to you. And you can't beg them to be loyal. You see, if you want sycophants, you get sycophants. You get people that you can pay to just shout your name for a season, but they will not be loyal. You can't really buy loyalty. There is no way loyalty is sold. Yes, we can get them to vote for you with 5,000 naira, but guess what? They will curse you in their bedchambers because they know you're not a good person. And so it's beyond, getting the yes sir, the sycophantism of your followers. It's about getting their loyalty. This is a product of a properly established blocks 1 to 3. When the foundation is destroyed, even the upright is clueless, followership responds to the careful establishment of the first 3 blocks. Greenfield must not be the pursuit. A greenfield must not be the pursuit. It's only a consequence of the real pursuit of watering. I'll say that again. A greenfield must not be the pursuit. It is only the consequence of the real pursuit of watering. If I will water this field every day, green coming out of that grass is only a consequence of my daily commitments to watering that grass. And so don't focus on the loyalty of the people. If that is your entire focus, you will do the wrong things. You will be corrupt. You will be trying to raise sycophants instead of loyal followers. And so it's important that you don't emphasize so much on the loyalty of your followers. You can't be demanding for loyalty. Loyalty should not be demanded. It must be earned. And that is why you must work on your character, work on the charisma, work on the atmosphere. It will create a general atmosphere that people are just willing to stick with you for the long haul. Even when you're downsizing and you have to reduce salaries by 80%, people will say that, you know what, it's fine. We'll stick around with you. We know there will still be a season of boom. And we are willing to stick with you. Even when other companies are trying to entice them with bigger salary packs, they will stay loyal to you because they know that they're worth much more to you than just bottom line statistics. It's important that you learn to appreciate your followers. And how you appreciate them the most is by organizing solid leadership, by having established character and charisma, and creating an atmosphere that is, positive, that is centric to them, that is people-centric, that is all about improving their lives and improving their welfare and their well-being. And so the first 3 blocks serve as a thermostat, while this serves as a thermometer. Now, what do I mean by this dichotomy? A thermostat simply regulates, the atmosphere. The thermometer simply measures the temperature. I'll say that again. A thermostat regulates. That is, if somewhere is 2 degrees, cold, right? A thermostat can make it 1 degree cold. That is colder than 2 degrees. And then 3 degrees cold, which is hotter than 2 degrees cold. Do you understand that? And so that's what a thermostat does. It regulates temperatures. But a thermometer, what does it do? It only measures. So a thermometer is what they use for your body temperature. They just put it on you and they measure what it is. A thermometer does not control anything. It does not induce anything. It does not control anything. It does not regulate anything. It only measures what it is. And so your followership, the loyalty of your followers is the thermometer. The first 3 blocks serve as the thermostats. They are the ones that regulate your leadership. The followership only measures the quality of your leadership. Do you understand what I just said? And so you must pay attention to the first 3 blocks because that is where the real change is happening. Your loyalty, the loyalty of the followers is only a feedback telling you how well you're doing or how poorly you're doing. Very important. This must never be our pursuit, but it must always tell us something. We must never put the cart before the horse. That is, never put followership before the first 3 blocks. Put the first 3 blocks before followership, and eventually you will gain the loyalty of your followers. These are the 4 powerful blocks of leadership. And for you to be a better leader in your family, a better leader in your company, a better leader in your community, a better leader in the nation, in the state, these are the things that you have to pay special attention to. And I hope that this particular course on leadership has been very insightful for you. In the next class, you will be learning about the styles of leadership. And all of these would help further emphasize some of the things that we have shared either in this particular class. Thank you very much for following me through on this particular journey on leadership building and capacity development.